It's a Tuesday morning in March. Two colleagues, Sam and Jess, both walk into their respective dealerships. They earn the same $95,000 salary. They both want the same car, a mid-range Toyota RAV4 hybrid, about $52,000 drive away. They have similar credit scores, similar savings, and similar lives. They've both done their research, or at least they think they have. Sam signs a novated lease through his employer. His take-home barely changes. He drives off in the RAV4, feeling pretty clever. Jess takes out a car loan, 5 years, secured, 7.2% interest rate. Her repayments are $1,035 a month. She drives off in the same RAV4, feeling the weight of that commitment. For the first few months, Sam looks like the obvious winner. And honestly, standing where he's standing, it's hard to argue otherwise. Here's the thing about a novated lease in Australia. It's genuinely seductive. Your employer salary packages the car, which means your lease repayments come out of your pre-tax income. If Sam is earning $95K, he's sitting in the 32.5% marginal tax bracket. Every dollar he redirects into the lease is a dollar that never gets taxed at that rate. The ATO is essentially subsidizing his car. For a lot of people, especially salaried employees, who don't have many other tax levers to pull, this feels like a cheat code, and it kind of is. His all-in novated lease costs run around $1,180 a month, but because of the tax treatment, his out-of-pocket impact after the tax saving is closer to $820. That figure includes his fuel, registration, insurance, and servicing, all bundled in, all pre-tax. Sam tells Jess about it at lunch. Jess does the math and quietly wonders if she made a mistake. She hasn't, but she doesn't know that yet. There's a number both of them are ignoring, not because it's hidden, it's right there in the paperwork, but because it doesn't feel urgent when you're focused on whether you can make next month's payment. That number is the residual value, and it's where the lease starts to show its teeth. At the end of a novated lease, typically 3 to 5 years, Sam faces what the industry calls a residual. It's the agreed-upon remaining value of the car, and it's mandated by the ATO as a percentage of the original cost. On a 5-year lease of a $52,000 vehicle, the ATO minimum residual sits at around 28.125% of the original value, so roughly $14,625. When the lease ends, Sam has 3 choices: pay that residual and own the car outright, roll into a new lease on a new car, resetting the whole cycle, or hand the car back and walk away. Most people choose option 2 because option 3 means you've spent 5 years paying for something you don't keep, and option 1 means a sudden $14,600 expense at exactly the moment you thought you were done paying. Jess, meanwhile, owns her car fully. No residual, no balloon, no decision point in 5 years. Now let's run the numbers, because that's where the conversation stops being theoretical. By year 3, Sam has paid roughly $29,520 in out-of-pocket lease costs after tax savings. He has 0 equity in the vehicle. The car, which was worth $52,000 new, is now worth approximately $34,000 on the used market. Standard depreciation for a RAV4 hybrid, Jess has paid $37,260 in loan repayments. She owes about $22,400 on the remaining loan, meaning her equity in the car is approximately $11,600. She holds an asset. Sam holds a lease agreement. By year 6, assuming Sam has rolled into a second 3-year lease on a comparable car at comparable terms, he's spent around $59,000 out of pocket across both leases. He's now driving a newer car with 3 years left on the second lease, and he still owns nothing. Jess, on the other hand, finished paying off her loan partway through year 5. She's been driving a fully paid car for nearly a year. Her effective cost since year 3 has been rego, insurance, and servicing. Call it $3,800 a year. She's ahead. By year 10, the picture is stark. Sam has spent close to $98,400 in total post-tax lease costs across what is likely a third vehicle cycle. He may have tax efficiency to show for it, but he has no car, no asset, no residual to bargain with. Jess has spent around $62,500 total. Loan repayments plus 5 years of running costs post-payoff. She's been driving debt-free since 2030. She owns a car worth somewhere between $12,000 and $16,000, depending on condition and market. Her effective cost per year across the decade, $6,250, Sam's $90,840. That gap doesn't announce itself loudly. It accumulates quietly, repayment by repayment. But before you decide Sam is the cautionary tale, you need to read the fine print on Jess's side of the ledger too. Because buying a car on finance in Australia has its own collection of traps, and the industry is exceptionally good at burying them in the excitement of driving away. Dealership finance is one of the most consistently overpriced products in the Australian lending market. The interest rates offered on the floor, that 7.2% Jess agreed to, are frequently higher than what's available through a bank or credit union. Some dealers receive a commission from the finance provider based on the rate they sell you, which means the guy helping you figure out the numbers has a financial incentive to nudge that rate up. A borrower who did 30 minutes of research and came in with a pre-approved loan from their bank would typically save between $2,000 and $4,500 in interest over a 5-year term on a $52,000 vehicle. Most people don't do 30 minutes of research. They do 30 minutes of test driving. There's also the depreciation trap specific to buying new. The steepest depreciation on any car happens in the first 3 years. Buying a 2-year-old RAV4 with 25,000 kilometers on it and the same 5-year loan would have dropped Jess's principal to around $38,000, saving her tens of thousands while still giving her a car that, practically speaking, is barely run in. The obsession with new is a cultural quirk that the car industry has done an extraordinary job of cultivating. It's expensive. It's also completely optional. Now, the honest part, because the whole point of this isn't to crown a winner. It's to make sure you're asking the right question. There are situations where the novated lease is not just reasonable, it's genuinely the superior play. If you're a small business owner and you operate the vehicle for work more than 50% of the time, the GST credits alone change the calculus considerably. You can claim back the GST on the purchase price, reduce your taxable income, and structure the depreciation to your advantage in ways an employee with a salary packaged lease simply can't access. For a sole trader or company director in the right situation, buying through the business is a legitimate wealth preservation strategy. There's also the lifestyle argument, and it's not as frivolous as the financially prudent crowd would have you believe. If you genuinely want a new car every 3 years, if the experience of driving a current generation vehicle matters to you, and you derive real satisfaction from it, a lease is arguably more honest than buying new and selling at a loss every few years, which is what most people who like new cars end up doing anyway. The lease, at least, accounts for depreciation transparently. The person who buys a $52,000 car, drives it for 3 years, and sells it for $32,000 has lost more than Sam lost in lease costs. They've just lost it in a way that didn't feel like a monthly bill. And then there's the discipline argument. The lease works on paper for people who would actually invest the monthly difference if they bought used. If Jess had bought a $38,000 used RAV4, paid $750 a month in loan repayments instead of $1,035, and reliably invested that $285 monthly difference at even a conservative return, she would have built a meaningful position over a decade. But most people don't do that. Most people spend the difference. The lease, for all its structural inefficiency, at least enforces a kind of financial commitment that a cheaper car loan often doesn't. That last point is the thread that ties all of this together. The trap isn't the lease. The trap isn't the loan. The trap is evaluating a $52,000 financial decision on the basis of how much it hits your account each fortnight. The monthly payment is a cash flow question. It tells you almost nothing about the actual cost of a financial product. It's the number car dealers love you to focus on, because it's the number that makes expensive things feel affordable and structural inefficiencies feel invisible. A novated lease looks cheap per month, because the tax saving is immediate and the residual is deferred. A loan looks expensive per month because the full cost sits on top of you from day one. Neither of those feelings reflects what you'll actually have paid and what you'll actually own when it's over. Sam and Jess left their dealerships on the same Tuesday, driving identical cars, feeling equally confident. One of them was optimizing for next month. The other, probably without fully realizing it, was optimizing for next decade. Before you sign anything, lease, loan, or balloon payment, ask yourself this: am I choosing this product because it's genuinely cheaper or because it's been structured to look cheaper? That one question is worth more than any calculator.